Good evening, everyone. This story happened recently. It wasn't that long ago. It happened in 2013, at a medical university in Hebei province. A grad student who was interning. That's him. Something scary happened to him. This guy is now in his late 30s. He was a grad student in 2013. He told me he encountered something that almost put an end to his entire medical career. Because today, he has a pretty big deal. He's a pretty formidable chief physician. But back then, when he was in grad school, he ran into something strange at school. It made him almost quit his job. He said it was so bad that he went home and talked to his parents. Mom, Dad, I really ran into something scary. Before, we would talk at school. Some students said our school was haunted or that there are ghosts in the world. I never paid any attention to it. But what happened to me recently, Mom, Dad, I just can't explain it. You've been doctors for so long. Have you ever run into anything strange? Usually, their chats with their parents weren't this serious. He had never talked to them so seriously, especially when talking about this kind of topic. But this time, when he really started talking to his parents, and his parents saw his face. Even his parents, who had been in the medical field for many years, started to have doubts. They didn't know how to explain it to him. He said that he could tell from his parents' expressions at that time. My parents definitely have a story to tell, but they're not telling me. At that time, my parents didn't know how to answer me. What if my dad told me to keep working in this field? What if I got scared by something and what if my dad didn't let me work in this field? I could have been very successful in this field. During that time, my parents took very good care of me. Maybe it was because I ran into something strange. My body wasn't feeling well for many days. But in the end, I still kept going. Because I thought about it. Sigh. I saw a lot of scary things that couldn't be explained. These things ultimately didn't affect me. My so-called fear, and all the abnormal positive energy that fear brought me, was all caused by myself. Well, my friends, that's probably enough for now. Yev made it confusing, messy. You all don't understand. Don't worry. Now, I'll take you into our story today. Now, lend me your ears. I'll take you with me to 2013. To a medical university in Hebei province. This thing, we have to start talking about it from the winter of 2013, the winter of that year. During the winter, our guy, who we'll call Xiao Ji, started his deep surgical lab. This ordinary school, you see, is different from graduate school. The depth of the studies is different. By then, Wed already entered the clinical trial phase. He even said it was no longer just about the old days in college, when we were learning and doing dissections and stuff. Instead, we started following my advisor to gain clinical knowledge. My advisor was a well-known local doctor. Back then, Wed followed him almost every day, going in and out of various hospitals. Of course, most of the time, we were still cooped up in the school's lab. In other words, ever since he started his second year of grad school, this buddy of mine spent all his time dealing with severely ill patients. And of course, there were also some preserved, dissected cadavers. He said had become numb to it during that time. He said at first, when we were in college, we were already used to it, and when we got to grad school, we became even more used to it. The sight of the cadavers that make most people shiver didn't faze him anymore. In our line of work, everyone's like that. The word fear seems to have little to do with us. But then one night, I don't know what came over me. I was on that messaging app we used back then. and I said to a friend, "Why don't we get a couple of people together? Let's go sing." It was around 7 p.m., and he got my message. We hit it off immediately. One of our classmates was pretty well off. His parents had bought him a car, so he drove, and the four of us, 2 guys and 2 girls, headed to a KTV in Shijiazhuang. Our school is a bit of a drive from Shijiazhuang. Nothing happened during the long drive. We were chatting and laughing in the car, having a great time. There's one important thing I need to mention. Even though it was a Saturday and we didn't have classes, we still went to the lab around 1 p.m. that afternoon. We did some more dissection analysis and some detailed reporting, because it was a requirement. We had to put in extra hours because we were about to start our second-year research papers. That afternoon, we spent the whole afternoon studying those cadavers. What's the word? We handled several cadavers. Well, put that aside for now. I am just setting the scene for you. Just keep that in mind. At that moment, we had completely forgotten about it, and we were on our way to have fun at the KTV. We got to the KTV a little before 9 p.m. We booked a room, went in, and started singing. Everything went smoothly. We had a great time. And at 11 o'clock, a waiter came in and asked if we wanted to stay all night. To be honest, we shouldn't have stayed all night. First, staying up late is bad for you. Second, we had class on Monday, but we were having so much fun drinking that day, we got crazier and crazier. It was the girl who requested it. She insisted on staying all night. They called it night owl, karaoke, or something. Usually, it costs 60 or 70 an hour, but to stay all night was only 120. We thought, it's worth it even if we only sing until 2, so we paid for the all-nighter. And then, after paying, we kept singing. Nothing happened. But at around 1 in the morning, one of the boys picked a song. There was nothing special about this song. I don't get any ideas. It was a catchy pop song back then. But just as he got to the part, after the verse, and into the chorus, he was just about to use all his strength to sing the high note. As soon as he opened his throat, he only got 4 or 5 words out, and then, thud. At that moment, all the music on the TV went completely silent. We thought the machine had crashed, because that kind of thing happened a lot in KTVs back then. So I immediately reached for the remote and desperately pressed it at the TV. But no matter what I did, it didn't work. I started to get anxious. I wanted to stand up. Maybe the remote was broken. I got up and started furiously pressing the buttons at the TV. While I was focused on doing that, and the other friends were also looking confused, all of a sudden, a terrifying sound came from the TV. Holy shit. When that sound came on, we just froze. And I wasn't the first one to scream. It was the boy next to me. He screamed first. Immediately, the other 2 girls hugged each other. Everyone was silent. We were silent for a few seconds. I was the first to speak. What the hell is that sound? We don't think we're cowards. The KTV had reverb at the time. The sound clearly came from the KTV TV and all the speakers around it. You know what that room felt like at that moment? The sound seemed to come from hell. It was terrifying. There's no way to describe it. It was a bit like the zombies in zombie movies. We were just there, in a pitch-black KTV at night. How were the 4 of us supposed to handle this? But there was a problem with that sound. It only lasted for a few seconds. No more than 2 or 3 seconds. Suddenly it was gone. Just as we were hesitating in fear, not even a few seconds later, the song that my friend was just singing on the TV started playing normally again. Right at that moment, were we still in the mood to sing? You wouldn't pick up the mic and keep singing. That's impossible. We were all stunned. The four of us just sat there in a daze. Then one of the guys spoke first. Did the TV just glitch? What's going on? I didn't know how to answer him, and don't even mention the girls. The two girls were scared and hugged each other. Nobody paid attention to him. The song on the TV was still playing. We weren't in the mood to sing anymore. The man said we should leave now. Or what? We have to make a decision, or call the staff. What's going on here? We're at a perfectly normal KTV, and we're hearing ghost sounds. Are you trying to scare your customers to death? But the problem was, the song on the TV next, it didn't give us time to think. We hadn't recovered from the fear yet. We hadn't even caught our breath. The song had only been playing for a few seconds, when suddenly it started glitching again. This time, the song glitched, as if it was stuck on one word. The singer was singing one word, and it was stuck repeating, ga ga ga. I immediately spoke. What is going on now? I grabbed the remote control next to me. I didn't want to change the channel this time, or make it start playing. I wanted to turn it off. But don't forget, KTVs don't have a power button. I frantically pressed buttons on the remote. While I was nervously pressing, the two girls next to me were so scared they hid behind me. The other guy also huddled with us. We were lucky we were huddled together. The song was stuck for 3 or 4 seconds, maybe 4 or 5. I totally lost it at that moment. I was completely confused. Then, the TV started talking again. It's not my fault. Haha, a few of you came here to play and left me on the cold stage. You forgot about me. Holy crap. At that moment, the four of us really didn't know what to do. The situation was completely out of control. The first time we heard the strange sound, we were still able to calm down. This time, we completely broke down, especially the two girls behind me. They let out a series of screams. They scared me and the other guy so much that we couldn't sit in that KTV anymore. The two of us stood up and wanted to leave. How do I even need to say it? The girls were scared too. They followed right behind us, pushed open the door, and we rushed out. After rushing outside, we got all confused and panicked, and those two girls were still screaming. But the servers at the door, even though there weren't many at night, there were still some. So how could they not find it strange? 2 servers from both sides walked up. What's going on with you? What happened? Your KTV is haunted. Yeah, your KTV is haunted. What's going on? What was the music inside saying? Saying what? We don't care about it. I don't know how to describe it to you. At that moment, the 2 servers were stunned. They stared at us with wide eyes. What did you say? What's haunted? While talking, the 2 servers seemed not scared at all. They had no reaction. They just pushed open the big KTV door. The 2 of them walked right in. These 2 servers walked in, so we weren't afraid anymore. We followed them inside too. We clearly explained the whole story to them. At this time, on the TV, it was still stuck on the last song screen. The server took the remote control and clicked on the KTV screen a couple times. This song started playing normally. Everything was smooth. There was absolutely no change. It was a normal karaoke pop song. The 4 of us looked at each other. Ah, how did it go back to normal? Then we continued to explain to the KTV guy. Go back. This instrumental part. There was a scary sound before this part. The young guy listened to us, held the remote control, and rewound it. As we said, he rewound it 4 or 5 times, but there was no weird screaming sound. Not only was it smooth, but the music was so beautiful. At this point, we started to break into a cold sweat. We were confused and didn't know what to say. After all, we were grad students, not some kind of tough guys. Should we just cause a scene, not pay the bill, dine and dash? That was impossible. After a long hesitation, the guy also explained for a long time, but didn't make much sense. He just said the machine might have problems sometimes, but the problem was that it wasn't a glitch. We're not idiots. What does a glitch sound like? What about someone talking on the TV like a ghost? What does that sound like? Can't we tell the difference? Finally, the 4 of us decided, forget it. It's just a little over 100 yuan. Our families aren't that poor. We'll just lose the 100 yuan. We had just paid for the daytime singing session, and the night owl session lasted until about maybe just before 1 a.m. We all left. Oh God, if the story ends here, I don't need to tell you what happened later. This isn't a story about a school. It's a horror story from a medical university. Isn't this the KTV haunting? That's not what happened at all. Next, we left the KTV. Everyone, don't forget, we still have to drive. We got in the car and headed back to school. Sitting in the car, the 4 of us were all talking at once. It wasn't as intense as you might think, because at this point, everyone was scared, stiff. At the time, the 2 girls asked, "Do you think ghosts really exist?" Oh my gosh, I am never going to that KTV again. They said that KTV was so great. How could something like this happen? So everyone listening understands now. We blamed all the haunting stuff on that KTV. But the car kept driving forward. We were driving, and the atmosphere in the car was incredibly tense. Of course, that had a lot to do with the 2 girls. My male friend and I, no matter how much we tried to avoid their conversation, we couldn't. They just kept muttering about this stuff. This whole thing wasn't going away. To be honest, we were scared too. We didn't want them to keep talking about it. We wanted them to stop. But these 2 girls wouldn't stop. At that moment, I got a bright idea. I just randomly reached for my friend's car's CD player. I just pressed a button to play a song. A song started playing inside. It was a foreign disco song that my friend usually loves to listen to. Dune Tess. Dune Tess. It just started playing. The atmosphere in the car, the tense atmosphere, got a lot better instantly. While thinking of the Dune TSS, I immediately told my friends, "Enough. Stop talking about it. We just won't go to that KTV again, okay? It has nothing to do with us." What do you think we ran into? Oh man, tomorrow, we have to tell our classmates about this. That KTV is too scary. So basically, at that moment, I was deliberately trying to lighten the mood. I tried to talk casually. You see, don't forget we were in a car. My other male friend, his face was still pale with fear. We didn't have driver's licenses. We could only rely on him. What if he got so scared that he lost focus? Wouldn't that cause an accident and kill us? But just as I finished explaining everything, and the mood was finally good, the Dune TSS song playing in the car suddenly, for some reason, stopped with a thump, and it was silent again. The music stopped. It was silent for about a second or two. Then we heard something else from inside the car. It was the sound from the KTV just now. That scary sound. It's not my business, is it? Ha ha. A few people came here to play. They put me on a cold stage. Forget about me. This sound, once it came out, my friend's handlebars started to shake. The car immediately started to sway to the left. I panicked at that time. Hey, I was yelling like that at the time, but then I saw the car was about to be completely out of control. I can't do it. I don't know how I reacted at the time. Actually, I don't know enough about cars. I just pulled the handbrake next to me. Once I pulled the handbrake, our car spun in place. The sound of the tires grinding at that time. There was no one on this entire road who couldn't hear it. But don't worry, there was no one here at the time. Our car made a big circle in place and rubbed against the dirt road on the side. The sound of that grinding was so loud. Fortunately, there was nothing on the side of the dirt road. There were no obstacles either. The car didn't hit anything. It just stopped there. This was the second time I experienced it. I heard that scary sound. The sound was like a copy of the previous one. It was like the music played at the KTV just now, came to our car and was played again. This is just one thing. There's another thing. After the car's dangerous situation just now, we almost had a traffic accident. The four of us completely broke down. We sat in the car and took a long time to calm down. One of the guys was the first to speak. "Let's call the police. What's going on? I feel like I can't go back tonight." Just at this moment, we were thinking about the police. Suddenly, I don't know what was going on. The one sitting in the back seat, a slightly heavier girl, she said something. After she said it, everyone in the car was stunned. I feel like the voice we just heard, the voice that's speaking, has nothing to do with that KTV. What did you hear him say? He said, "Let's not mind him, leave him there," and left. Do you think this is he following us? Also, you guys don't know if you forgot, the corpse, we didn't put it back completely into that big pool. We just pushed it directly into the freezer next to it, and then we left. When the girl said this at the time, my heart skipped a beat. Damn, she's right. I immediately followed what she said and started thinking. I started to ponder. She's right. After we finished the experiment today, we didn't put the body back in its original place. Good evening, everyone. Sister Lee and I today, a few incidents that happened to her. Oh, her mindset might be very similar to yours. She doesn't even know what she encountered. She's always been bothered by these strange things. She got to know me through our show, so she was eager to share her story with everyone. Our loyal listeners, in previous episodes, we've also talked about yin soldiers. The appearance of yin soldiers is common during large-scale disasters or major supernatural events. This incident that Sister Lai encountered is a bit. She said, "I heard you talk about yin soldiers in one episode. That story happened during the Tangshan earthquake. But this thing that happened to me, I just can't figure it out." She said, "I was just at home. Nothing special happened all day. But then at night, yin soldiers came to my house." Haha, maybe she's just imagining things. She said she really saw a big group of them. And this group of people, it was like in a video game. When you use a flash spell, they suddenly appeared in her room. And then, poof, they disappeared. So, listen to the rest of the story so you can hear what the young lady actually ran into. Actually, Sister Lee has several stories. I'll start with the most dramatic one to share with everyone. Sister Lee said it must have been between 99 and 98. We had just bought a new house in Jinan. The house was beautiful. The house was very beautiful. We put a lot of effort into decorating it. After moving into the new house, I was home alone. This day, I had dinner around 8 p.m. After dinner, I was sitting in the living room, watching TV. As I was engrossed in the show, suddenly, all the lights in the room went out. Even the TV I was watching went out and lost power. But at that moment, I specifically looked outside at the building. No other residents had a power outage.